Hello, welcome back. Maybe welcome for the first time ever, possibly. My name's Ethan. I am one of 3 hosts. The other 2, one of them, self-proclaimed Slavophile, vet in the making, Braden. The other, I can't really think of a title for you, Jackson. Jackson,
Wow. Wow,
the
Ethan. Thank you for that. That was
you're welcome.
wow. I'm
Nothing
glad to
came to
see that
me.
you think so highly of me, Ethan. God.
I try.
Yeah?
I try. Well, welcome back to the Help Me Help You podcast. I'm not entirely sure what we do here. I don't think anyone really knows.
Oh,
We wrote a
no, we
description,
don't.
but I mean that's
That's it's very
ambiguous at
subjective
best.
and ambiguous, and
You know,
it's just some story Brayden came up with in a fever
I think it
dream.
was
it is.
actually very
It was a fever
specific.
dream. Maybe it's too specific. Maybe it limits us. It limits our scope.
Yeah,
What we
No,
can do.
I think it's fairly open.
sets down too many ground rules.
Too many ground rules. We
Although
just need to be as open as possible. We need to be the podcast equivalent of nude. No? Like
although I do have to
free
say
I can
that,
get behind that, Ethan.
that our
naturalist.
good friend Nick, when I sent it to him earlier, he said that he didn't actually like see anything except for like the description which popped up in Discord, and he thought it was my obituary being sent to him by my parents. He thought I died. And he called my phone instantly after. He said, Jackson, is he okay? And I was like, Nick, are you all right? And he's like, oh my god, you're alive. It
So
was
Jackson, oh, sorry.
whoa.
I was gonna say, do you want me to write your obituary then?
Yes, I would actually. I think
I
you'd be
got
a
you.
good
I'll
obituary writer.
I'll write it down.
Yeah, right now?
On
Is
March
that what you're doing?
16th, Jackson Terrell, after ingesting 16 pounds of cocaine,
Oh
fell
my
off of
god.
a third-story balcony under suspicious circumstances.
You're just describing Chet Baker's death
Chet
now.
No,
Baker.
he was heroin.
Right, it was
For
heroin,
those of
not
you
cocaine, right,
who
okay.
don't know, Chet Baker is a
He's our Lord and
critically
Savior.
acclaimed jazz musician who had a very interesting, very troubled, interesting life that
Wait,
I can't say is particularly reflected in his music. You wouldn't
and
know.
you wouldn't know at all. If
Maybe that's
even though
what
you
does
can't
it.
hear it, we are currently listening to his sweet tunes.
It's true.
God, his
So should we move into
I think Brayden should go
topic?
first with his topic.
I should go first, but I've just got a
Yeah,
question.
I think
Mine's
that's a
kinda like
good
a
way to
late
start.
game, kinda.
Too bad.
Okay. Well, you're gonna say that I'm lame for this because this is,
Oh my
like,
god.
super basic, but if you had $1,000,000,
Oh my.
what would you do with it?
Do I have to
I
spend
know,
it
I
in a
cheaped
short period
out.
of time, or do I have as much time
I
as
mean,
I
you
want with it?
presumably, like, die at some point. Let's say you die at age 80, I don't know. That's
Okay,
average human lifespan,
well,
right?
first thing I would do is I would source some, World War II vehicle, hopefully a tank of some sort, or an aircraft, I don't know, something of that sort, and I would purchase it. That's basically what I do with it. I don't really have any other plans for $1,000,000 that I just get out of the blue that I didn't work of in any way, shape, or form for, so it doesn't have any strings attached to it, you know?
No, you won the lottery.
Is it in
Yeah,
cash?
I just
Yeah,
have
sure, it's in cash, why not?
I would
Unless you
make
don't want it
poor
to be, you can
financial
pick.
Kinda
decisions
don't
with
want it to
every other
be.
You
lottery
don't
win.
what do you want?
I mm, I want half to be put into a savings account, so I only have like $500,000 to work with, and then from there,
Okay.
I'm going to never work a day in my life and live off that $500,000 with the extra $500,000 works
Just
off
500.
interest.
You're gonna live off of $500,000 for the rest of your life.
I'll make it work.
Ethan,
You
I'll
it
can
has to
pull
be
max.
from
like
the
It's
I'll
not.
oh, no, the other $500,000 is going to make me money off interest, and then with the remaining $500,000, I'm gonna try to invest it into something. I probably won't do it myself. I'll probably hire some firm
Ethan, I
to
feel
make
like
me
you would
some
end up
money.
on a TLC episode.
A
T-
TLC episode.
Yeah,
Oh my
like
god.
like I don't know. There was some episode they did of some like like it was like extreme cheapskate, cheap cheap
I could be
whatever
on.
the fuck the word is.
I don't
But
think
like
it. What I'm describing is being cheap.
no, but I feel like in order to live off of those
Oh,
$500,000, you would have to be like that. Like this
I,
guy, I remember it was like he lived off of like 89 cents a day or something. Like it was an insanely
it's
low
kind of
amount.
impressive. I
He
mean,
would
if
only
you're
use
like,
like a quart of water each day to like wash dishes, wash himself, like do all this shit.
hmm, but Ethan, you remember you live to be 80 though.
yeah.
So I don't know. Can that last
So
you
I'm
till
gonna take
you're
half of it and I'm gonna invest it or put it in a
From
bank.
this point
Whatever
in
is
life right
determined to be the most profitable. Probably invest it and just like from there take a certain percentage of the profit made from investing. Um, and see where that goes. And then I just have like a certain amount that I'll live with, right? Because I'm not a very materialistic person. At the end of the day, I don't have a whole lot. I don't need a whole lot. It'll probably be mainly like technology things, and
changed my
because
mind.
I won't buy what I won't need, right? I might be a little bit liberal with my Coca-Cola purchases, but
like
I I, I don't
you're
see it.
not,
I don't think it's horrible.
I've
I'm not
completely
what?
changed my mind
but
on
you're
what
not gonna work at all. You said.
Well, if I can make most of my money without if I can make a living off of money I don't have to work for, then I'm gonna do that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I
Okay.
might, I mean, because what is that? I might like volunteer for things then after that to fill up because there's still the like human needs something
Ethan,
to
would you start a
do
nonprofit?
element of working. Would I start a nonprofit?
Yeah.
I, I mean, I don't really know if I don't know. Maybe eventually, not
Maybe like a
initially. I don't have the
citizen
experience or the funds.
Mm. I've changed my mind on what I would do. Instead of buying like one very large item, I think I would put a good amount of money into making a museum of some sort.
Where
I
would you
I
put this
feel like
museum?
I don't know, somewhere where there's not very much foot traffic.
Alabama.
Why don't you want foot traffic for a museum?
Well, no, because I want it to build up and then get foot traffic. Like I want it to like build
You
up and
want
then
to be
suddenly
the
be like,
attraction.
"Oh my god, this is the attraction for this area." And like the only people who come through aren't like a bunch of people that don't like know anything. It's like people
You
that
know,
are going there to look at this stuff.
didn't they do this for the big Noah's Ark museum?
Oh my god.
Didn't they build that in like the middle of nowhere?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention to that.
I saw commercials for
I
There
that.
is
saw
a
a meme about it and then
Ark
I kept
Encounter,
scrolling.
right?
there is a giant to scale I think it's to scale
How could you
construct
do a to
representation.
scale representation of Noah's Ark to house every 2 of every creature? I mean, that
Well,
would be
I
larger
never
than a
said
continent.
I'm
It
pretty sure it doesn't house one of every or two of every creature. I'm pretty sure it's just a to scale replica of the um,
I mean
Noah's
Lucifer.
it
Ark
it
built
literally
in
has
Kentucky.
Built in
it has
Kentucky,
the
of course.
measurements for
Yeah.
the ark listed in the Bible, so I'm pretty sure they just went off
Does
of
it?
that. Yeah, it says like you're going to build me an ark that is this many. I forget. It's like
They're
some strange
not they're not
measurement.
like proper. Yeah, it's not like
It's a
a it's not
cubit or something like that. I can't
it's
remember
some
what they are.
semi-ambiguous like older. measurement term. I don't really know if it actually has. I think it could be a range of things. I'm not entirely sure.
Uh, I mean, I've literally known nothing Bible. I mean, I literally so I I opened up my great grandmother's Bible one day, right? Because it's like sitting on a shelf, and I read one sentence of it. I don't even remember what it said, but it was absurd and quite amusing to me. So I laughed at it and I put the book down. I haven't touched a Bible like other than like moving a Bible in a hotel out of the way since.
What did you place in it? What did you place in its place?
Huh?
You
Moving a
moved the
Bible
Yeah,
in
you moved
the
it out of the way. So what did you place there?
just to put stuff in the drawer. Like there was one time when I like had a Coca-Cola bottle filled with like
Well, that's the
tea.
spirit.
And I just I threw it in that drawer and I took the Bible out and I like shoved it under the bed or something.
Do you have any idea what you read that made you feel that way?
I really
Like
don't
what
remember
specifically?
what it said at all.
Because a lot of the what's going on in the Bible is just sort of either contextual, isn't you? It's part of it's following the story that's been established, and you just have to. If you don't know what's going on, it's like you're reading a book from a page. You have no idea what's going on, or it's some sort of like actually okay metaphor that
Mhm.
isn't like it's not necessarily religious and more it's like a way to live. And I wonder which one you just like read
I have
some
no
like
clue.
piece
I
of
really
advice, be
don't
like,
know.
ha, religious people. What's a term for people who practice religion? Theists,
Religiophile or religiophile?
I consider them
religiophile.
as I consider them as uh
What are you about to say?
idiots. How
There
about
it is. There it is.
Practitioner?
And already like 50% of our audience has been like
Hey man,
base. You've
hey.
limited our scope now. We can only
Great
grow
job,
so much.
Jackson.
It was
God.
gonna happen eventually.
That's true.
It's
Day two.
eventually Jackson will offend everybody but a
Yeah.
select minority. And those people all be like
Episode
alt-right.
2, Jackson's
I
first victim.
as I said, the first thing that I said was that I'm a horrible person, and if
That
you
doesn't
say
excuse
something
it though.
Well,
I'm not trying to be excused, I'm just saying I warned
he isn't
people.
specifically hurting anybody right
That's
now.
true, that's
He's
true.
not being discriminatory per se,
I
or
mean, it's not like I
True,
would
that's
take this
true.
knife in my hand and start stabbing religious people. I mean, I would not do
no.
that's not something I would
Fine.
do.
What
I
is
mean, I might
your
say something against
go-to,
them,
um,
form
what's
of
your
violence.
go-to? No.
Uh,
What's your go-to so you find a religious person, like, let's say you're walking through a college campus, and in the big open area where everyone's walking through, you got the preacher, and he's got the Bible in one hand, and he's spouting something that he probably came up with that has
you
nothing to
know
do with the Bible in his hand, but he's still holding it anyway.
You know,
What do you do?
instead of this scenario, Ethan, I'm gonna go to when I met that religious girl in that cafe, and I, in the moment, lied to her and said that I was religious just because I didn't want to deal with it, and I and then I just never talked to her again. I like judged her.
So wait. Are you saying that you would go back on your own beliefs to appease
Impress some
to
hussy.
impress?
Now,
Dang,
now,
that's
if
slightly saddening, Braden or Jackson.
Jackson, I
oh,
thought
is
you were
it?
of stronger
I
confirmation
did.
than that.
I thought you would like attack her with a spork.
No, no, I'm
There weren't any
not like
forks or
that.
sporks. Sorry,
I
you
mean,
couldn't.
I did remark a couple things, like I said a few things that I like saw in her face. She was like, "What?" She got taken aback by the things I said, and I
Was
ended
it
up
about like a
saying that I had to
specific
leave.
group of people?
It's about Catholics.
Oh,
Oh well.
dang.
Oh,
You know there are dinosaur exhibits in the Ark Encounter
Really?
As
They
animals
believe in
that they
dinosaurs?
apparently.
I thought religious people don't
Well,
like the
can't
notion of
say that like the
evolution.
dinosaur. Well, it depends which ones, because
Oh,
you have the hardcore creationists, or the like. I don't know what the exact term is. The people
so
who believe
Frank,
the world was created in 6,000, or not the world. The Earth has only been
universe.
around for like 6,000 years or whatever. Maybe
Mhm.
it's more than that. It's probably more than that. Who who think that like it's like dinosaur bones were put there by God sort of deal, and time scale doesn't work. I don't know. They have a
And I'm
whole
gonna
lot of
do that with your
bunch of
bones.
interesting
I'm gonna
arguments.
place them in a conspicuous spot.
Oh, well, there's already a bigger plan in place for
This
this.
actually, this is the question I was going to ask. It was inspired by, I think, Braden's original thing in the beginning of, um, how would you want to be buried, or how do you want to die? Like, not how do you want to die? How do you want your like post-mortem stuff to go? Right? Like, do you want to be buried, cremated? Do you want some elaborate display?
I want
I have.
organ donation, and then so there's one. This was like a few years ago. I've like changed my mind on this, but a few years ago, I wanted my funeral to be a barbecue
That's
Like,
pretty
with
of
your
my
good.
of
parts?
me. I wanted people to eat me, as in like how people say that like you're respecting the animal by eating it.
Is that like a
They'd like eat me,
Would
but
they
I
know?
decided that yes.
Oh,
would there be like a
I
voucher
decided that
for like
there would only be
optional?
like a select few people that would actually do it.
Jackson,
Yeah.
if I was at your funeral, would I get a piece of leg served up on the plate, or would I be getting a piece of chicken? Like if am I
I'd
one of the
give you
select few, or
Brayden, I would probably I'd have you given like a pulled pork sandwich, but it's made out of
oh,
my
so it's
made
just
out of my
it's
it's made
ambiguous
out of
what
me.
part it is.
Yes, yes.
So I can't get like a nice lean
It's a whole
uh
roast, Brayden.
but
It's like a big it's like I got thrown in a smoker and smoked for a couple days, you know?
okay, so I'm not gonna get like a nice cut. It's just gonna be
I mean,
kind of
you
ground up.
could
can I have
But
your
if you
eyes?
wanted.
that's the
You
question.
could you could harvest like I don't know, like
Okay, but
tenderloins and
that's the
I'm gonna
fry
question
those
though.
save
up
your
or
brain.
something.
You said a
You're
select
gonna eat my
few.
Ethan,
You
I
said a
already said
select
organ
few
donation
I
would
first.
be
know. Who
getting
do you think it's
you,
gonna get
right?
donated to?
If it's a select
Not
few,
you.
if it's a
Me.
select few, right?
Then
The other
I'm
people are
gonna
getting
make sure
like.
that my organs don't go to you if you need them.
Wow. It's
You
like
hear that,
you
Ethan?
look on they look on your driver's license and they see the little heart, but then there's a little asterisk above it. That's like in the
Do
fine
not give
print.
to
Do
Ethan.
not give to Ethan under
God,
threat of death,
under threat of legal authority.
legal action. Yeah.
Jackson,
Yeah, yeah.
who who gets the pulled pork sandwiches and who gets the pulled Jackson sandwiches
You get a
at the
Paul
funeral?
Jackson sound. It's a brain. It's they're separated on a table, and you don't know which one is me and which
Oh,
one
I
is
figured they'd be
pig.
served like specifically to like. Here's your special sandwich. I got it from the pulled pork stack, not that
Yeah,
other
I don't know.
one.
I don't know. This was a fever dream a couple years ago, but like I don't know. Nowadays, I'm more like I would like my body to be cast out into the ocean. Like not my ashes, my body thrown into the ocean
Don't we do that to
so
like
that I get eaten
terrorists?
by like I'd like to be eaten by marine
I'm
creatures.
pretty sure we do that to like terrorist leaders so that we don't accidentally like sanctify their site of their death or burial. So we did to Osama bin Laden, I'm pretty sure,
Did they
This
like
through
cremate him and
Modification.
put
I don't
his
care.
ashes into the ocean though?
I
Because
don't
that
care
seems
about
easier.
what
They
we
might
did
find the
to
body
terrorist
otherwise.
people. I just all I know is I currently would like to be consumed by marine
You have like a specific
predators.
spot in the ocean you want to get dropped?
Uh the Mid Atlantic Ridge.
Do you want like a cinder block
I
swept
was gonna
here?
ask
No,
that.
no,
Do you
no.
want to sink or do you
See,
want to float?
so that's the thing. I
That's
How
a
about we
really hard
put you in a
so
weighted
so
suit?
so no, I know the amount of weight necessary to make my body neutrally buoyant. It's 8 pounds. So if shut I
So you
dive.
really done your
So stop
research.
I go diving. So stop doing your little smirk over there, Braden.
I think it's funny that you
Oh
know.
God.
Like you've looked into this.
Braden, I have to know in order to go diving.
Okay,
This
that's
is
fair.
like a thing that I need to know.
Like, would it? What is there a worst case scenario in this situation? Like, is it if your body somehow manages to like wash into the Amazon?
And the
So be
people
it.
there,
The yeah,
I don't care.
like
I'll
the
even
dolphins eat you.
the dolphin.
Do you
even
want to be like eaten by the sea
marine
life,
creatures. Yeah.
or do you want to just sort of hit the bottom and then
I wanna be eaten by sea life. I
dissipate?
don't wanna the thing is I don't wanna go to the bottom because if I go to the bottom, that means, like, just a bunch of crabs and, like,
Ah,
small crustaceans
coconut
eating me. I don't really
God,
crabs.
want
I
that.
hope the crabs
I would like
consume
to
you.
be made neutrally buoyant and sent down to a depth of, like, I don't know,
So you just want to sit there in like
like,
the deep.
I wanna float in the, like, in the mid drip, is, like,
You
kind
want
of
to
at the
be
depth
eaten by a
of the
whale.
no, I wanna be eaten by sharks or a form of tuna or something.
You
I
want to
don't
be
think that
eaten
the
by a
tuna slipped
tuna.
in there.
Wow, what's wrong with getting eaten by tuna?
I feel
Or,
like
like,
That's
that's
an
jacks or
exceptionally
something? They're very
mundane
cool.
animal to like
They're
want to
very
be
cool
killed
fish.
by or
Do you not think
eaten.
tuna are cool?
I think tuna are one of the most generic fish out there.
What?
Like of all the possible
Ethan, that's just
interesting
because
fish.
they're, like, super commercialized, and so it's very common for us to eat them, but the actual fish themselves, they're powerful, they're, they are amazing creatures. Have you ever caught a tuna, Ethan?
No, I don't fish.
We,
It's the
so
ocean.
just a little bit ago,
That's true.
well, actually, it's been 2 years ago. God, 3 years ago? We, went fishing out of Sarasota, and we caught this massive blackfin tuna, and he was so sleek, and, like, the design of his
Ooh.
fins, like, they would, like, rotate slightly,
When you got back to shore,
airfoil
did you
somehow.
drive back in a your Jeep?
This was before the Jeep.
Oh. I'm just do you have a Patagonia hat? I'm just trying to set the
It
scene.
was a sodium hat.
Okay. Dang.
It was on
Did you
my
wear a
uncle's hat.
button down like a thin button?
Mhm.
Thin button down was
Like what I'm
Jimmy
wearing right
Buffett
now.
on the radio.
But
Was
I'm
he
wearing one of
drinking
my favorite shirts right
Was
margaritas?
he
now.
yeah, Margaritaville.
I mean, I had a few beers, but not
No,
no
it wasn't about
alcohol
you.
out in the water. Oh,
It was
what?
Jimmy
Huh?
Buffett
Jimmy
drinking
Buffett was
Jimmy
drink
Buffett was
yeah, it
margaritas.
not
was Jimmy
there.
Buffett
Jimmy
there.
Buffett
No?
was not there.
Dang.
I wish he could have been. My uncle knows him.
Your uncle knows Jimmy
That's
Buffett?
kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Interesting.
Uh,
Anyway, you're talking about your black-finned tuna.
yeah, the fins on it, they so, like, you know how aircraft, right, they'll have the little parts that stick up on the wing to stop turbulence, right? Just the little, just the little metal lines on the wing. This tuna had lines like that out of their fins, and they would rotate, like, pivot, like a good, I don't know, 9 degrees,
That's
and
really specific.
I coulda said 10, but I didn't because I didn't think of the number 10, so shut up, Brayden. But, like, they're it was really cool, and I kinda got an appreciation for tuna at
You
when
know?
I caught that
Big
one.
tuna guy.
I don't wanna say I'm a
See,
big
when I
tuna
think of
guy,
interesting fish, I think of, like, anything else.
like a mahi-mahi or
I don't
wahoo, cobia.
no.
So sorry, everyone. We seem to have had a technical difficulty. We're not entirely sure how much got missed, but uh, we'll
My
just
consciousness is
kind of
back.
get right back into it.
We're back.
I'll fill in whatever we missed in the description down below.
Dang.
All right.
What if we
We're
missed
talking
all of
about
it?
favorite fish.
we said
Entire
We're talking about favorite fish.
past
So,
30 minutes.
okay.
Radon was
and
saying,
Ethan broadened it for me. He said any sea animal, which made it even harder to pick. And I said I was fascinated by octopi because they're very intelligent and they can solve problems. I think it's neat. That and just any kind of crustacean, especially coconut crabs. Because
Why do you think they settled on 8 limbs?
Why do I think they settled on 8 limbs?
Yeah, why didn't they go more? Squids have more.
Squids have 7.
Squids have 10.
Do they really?
I think so. Unless there's variation.
Ethan, are you including the flappy flaps at the top?
I'm pretty sure they have.
I don't know what the number is. We tried to
Um,
catch
Some squids have. Okay. I see. So they do have 10 arms.
we
2 of their
tried
arms
to
are
catch-
longer than the other 8 and are
Oh.
called tentacles.
Interesting.
At least that's what
Wikipedia.
the nhpbs.org says.
I would trust that one. It sounds fairly.
there's a picture on Google Images when I look up squid arms of Sylvester Stallone holding his arms up into the air, and squids are being like projected from his armpits.
Oh, what?
I'm not kidding. It's like I don't know how
You're
to.
gonna have to send that image. To
I
me
just
so
did.
can,
I just sent
oh my
it.
god.
There it is. It's very
Oh,
strange.
what is that? I'm gonna put this up on the screen. But
It's really
holy that is
really interesting.
that's disturbing.
His arms are massive.
Oh my god. They're like hinge open.
Look at his Hulk hands. He has like the Hulk gloves on.
Ethan, I know
dissected a
exactly
squid
what you're
once.
referencing. Uh,
Very interesting.
God. I was gonna say I don't remember. I've forgotten.
Jackson,
Fine.
what's your favorite fish or
Goblin
sea
shark.
creature?
Goblin shark.
Goblin shark. Are those the ones with the really big mouth?
No, the mouth like hinges out of their face.
Oh, these guys, the guys with the funky nose.
I know. I think they're so cool.
This is your favorite
My favorite sea creature.
sea creature.
I know Ethan's is orcas.
Well, I
Oh.
actually really like the bobbit worm a lot.
Bobbit worms are pretty cool.
We had one in a fish tank by accident. We had live rock for the saltwater tank, and there was a bobbit worm in there, and it ate one of our clownfish.
Bye bye Nemo.
What about mantis shrimp?
Mantis shrimps are
The
freaking awesome.
break the sound barrier guys.
They're 22 caliber bullet arms.
Yeah. Well, which ones are you talking about? Are you talking about the pinchy ones, or are you talking about the clubby ones?
I think it's the clubby ones that do that.
There's 2 different they both do it, but one of them is pinchy, one of them is clubby.
Well, one of them like vibrates their arms, right?
Yeah.
That's the clubby one, yeah.
One that punches.
No, the punchy one. Yeah, the clubby one. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The clubby one.
Oh, okay. Man.
They're pretty cool, but so Ethan, what is
Yeah.
your favorite sea animal and why is it the orca?
Okay. There are no reported incidents of an orca attacking and killing a human outside of captivity because they're the SeaWorld cases.
SeaWorld.
In which case, I think you can reasonably you can say that those are kind of they're not natural, right? They're not. It's not good. It's wouldn't normally happen. But I had orcas. Orcas are they terrify me. The idea of a sea animal that's intelligent enough to hunt in packs and is like as large as an orca, right? Because dolphins, when I think of a dolphin, they hunt in packs, and they're sort of devious animals. They're highly intelligent. When I think of that, I'm not scared of a dolphin. I understand that I could be like beaten to death by a horde of dolphins if they really wanted to, but they couldn't like eat me and tear me apart.
The ones out here in Kings Bay definitely could.
Yeah,
Those things
dolphins
are
could
fucking
definitely tear you
ferocious.
apart.
No, but they're not in the same way that a whale or than an orca could eat my lower half of my body, fling me out of the ocean, and then rip my lower half from my upper half in a single like thrust of their neck. Not in that way. And
You know,
they're
you
just
say this, and
they
you're all
play with
like,
their food.
you're all
They
like,
hunt for
oh,
sport.
we're
Like
hunting
they
packs.
will
We're hunting
find
packs.
seals and kill them and then just leave them there. They don't just for fun. Like they don't. That horrifies me. That horrifies me. It's like, oh,
Even-
what?
you talk all this stuff about how you're amazed. You're like, oh, they're so smart. They hunt in packs. You know, tuna hunt in packs.
Oh my god, the freaking tuna.
Well, tuna
They
are
actually
also
hunt in accordance with dolphins often.
tuna are silly, stupid fish, Jackson.
Ethan, you're a silly, stupid mammal.
Maybe, maybe.
Aren't we all?
That's true.
But especially Ethan.
Especially me.
Like silly, stupid animal. Like when I fell and cut my leg open at that construction site. Idiot.
Yeah, that was the other day, right?
No.
That was
We were
yesterday.
talking about what? Oh
Matter
my
of
god.
fact.
Oh god.
Okay, Jackson, I'm kind of waiting with anticipation
As to what mine is?
about what your question or statement or whatever you've
Mine
got.
is
What
a
do you have
topic.
for us? Oh, a topic. Uh-oh.
Uh, so, California is
Oh,
about
Jesus.
to release genetically modified mosquitoes to slim the population. So what it is they're going to release a bunch of male mosquitoes that have a gene that make it so that the females that are produced from their offspring cannot survive,
Mm-hmm.
but males can. And those males that they produce will carry that gene on and make more males that can't pass on female offspring, and the females are the ones that suck blood and can like transmit disease and stuff. And they're basically hoping to wipe out the mosquito population through that. And Florida, one of the counties, has already done it. The one where the Keys are. I forget what it's called. It's Monroe County. What do you guys think of this?
Ethan, do you want to go first, or do you want me to just launch into my thing?
Braden, I can hear Braden rumbling over there, and it's like I'm sitting on a beach and I'm looking out at Hurricane Braden. I can see it coming in. So
I
go
think
ahead.
Braden should go first. Yeah.
I think that's I don't know. I haven't read any journal articles or anything about it, so I don't know. Maybe there's research. I'd hope there's research, but that sounds like an incredibly dangerous idea. I would be worried about what the ecological implications might be for populations that have mosquitoes as a food source, and how that might travel up any food chain in the area. I will say, initially, when you started off the question, you said like to control the population. My mind went to like, wait, are they gonna like kill a bunch of people? But I don't know. I think unless like they really researched a lot, but even then, it's like doing research for something like an ecosystem, like an effect of something on an ecosystem is really there's a lot of unforeseens in there, and you can't really go back once you've wiped out the entire mosquito population. I don't know. It feels kind of crude and dangerous.
the EPA released permission to release these mosquitoes on March 7th in the desired counties of Stanislaus, Fresno, Tulare, and San Bernardino.
Oh, but this isn't like a whole, like, the entire state of California is releasing mosquitoes everywhere kind of thing.
Well, those counties, which are massive,
Okay, yeah, but, like, I don't know, if it's, like, if it can be
and
limited enough in scope to where it won't.
well, it won't because they're mosquitoes and they're not bound by counties. They're not
Well,
bound by
yeah,
any borders. They will travel, and
but
I
I don't
bet
know if a
you that within
mosquito.
a few months, that strain of mosquito will be in, like, I don't know, Alabama.
I don't know how. I know nothing about how mosquitoes migrate or move, so I can't really speak to that aspect of it. I don't know, it feels wiping out all the mosquitoes feels like it could have unforeseen consequences. Even though, like, it has the positive of,
Getting
less
rid of
disease transmission. It's
getting
like
rid of
malaria
yellow
is a huge
fever.
killer.
Yeah. Well, malaria is not that big of a problem in the US, but
Well,
yellow
I'm
fever
saying,
and
like,
stuff like that are.
worldwide, malaria is a huge
Mhm.
problem. For when you think of
Yeah.
mosquitoes, you think of malaria.
The most deadly animal is the mosquito.
But,
Oh,
uh
apparently, by April 30th, they are or no, this is yeah, April 30th, they're planning to release 2.5 billion of these genetically modified mosquitoes.
it's kinda crazy. It's like it would definitely be the beginning of a new era in how we deal with, species on the planet, though.
Hmm. Oh, and,
I don't
just
know.
for people's, if you guys wanna look at this article, it is from sciencenews.org. Just throwing that out there, citing my sources, you know. Ethan?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was about to say, Ethan, what do you think? I'm horrified to know what you're about to say.
Um, I think it falls in line with the notion of gradual uh, or attempts of making the environment more dependent on humans in general or more controlled. So like wiping out one of the probably the most prolific spreader of bloodborne pathogens other than humans is a pretty is a, I think it's an interesting step. I kind of agree with Braden in that if it's only good if we are exceptionally confident in the research done up to this point, right? As in, if we are sure this isn't going to cause some sort of an ecological cascade and kill the ecosystem, that'd be really unfortunate. I have no idea how it works in the Everglades because I imagine the Everglades would have a much more a greater dependence upon m- uh, mosquitoes in the food chain than like somewhere like Northern
Mhm.
California, just because of the
Yeah.
environment. I don't know, or like you don't really have. I imagine places that are pretty dominated by things like frogs or
Mhm.
I don't know what eats mosquitoes. Does anything eat
I think
mosquitoes?
I
Dragonflies.
think do
Dragonflies, frogs, lizards,
I
When I
feel like bats eat mosquitoes,
bats do, birds.
but I don't know that bats eat a lot of
Bats
mosquitoes.
eat a lot of mosquitoes.
Well, I don't know
Their
that it's like
diet.
I don't know if it's the
Let me
main thing in
see.
their diet, though.
I'm looking. I'm
it's
looking.
true.
I know that they do
Bat
eat a lot
diet.
of mosquitoes.
Bats eat, according to this website, 78% of their diet is estimated to be mosquitoes or
Really?
gnats.
Wow. Okay.
Or gnats.
Or not. Well,
So
either way,
I don't
it's
know.
still pretty. I was wrong in that
Yeah.
sense then.
I don't think
Hmm.
it'd be that bad.
Half of these sources are
I
telling
think
you how to feed a
it'll
cat.
adjust because it's not going to be an instant thing. There's still going to be mosquitoes
Yeah,
for like
for
the next
sure.
50 years. and then they'll
Gonna
sort
be
of
a
die
lot.
out,
Well,
ideally.
It depends.
But
I imagine it'll be a gradual sweep, and we'll probably know.
because I doubt we're gonna see a situation where the mosquito, unless humans transport them directly, you're probably not going to see mosquitoes jump from the west coast to the east
Oh
coast.
no, yeah, no, I don't think so.
Because I don't think a mosquito could really get that far, and there aren't a lot of. Because if mosquitoes propagate through water,
Oh,
through fresh water, then
okay.
you need to follow
Hold on.
that, and there's like a pretty big gap between when the Rockies start to the plain to the Mississippi,
Mm.
where the water is limited.
Yeah. So apparently, I didn't catch this before, but this genus of mosquito is not native to North America.
Oh
They're native to
well.
South America. They were first reported in California in 2013,
Hmm.
and by February of this year, it has been found in more than 30 states.
Interesting.
I guess that makes it slightly different, but still, I'd worry about how it might if it might spread to South America, where
Mhm.
they are from.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Apparently, they
But
are
even
a heavy
then,
spreader of dengue.
what's become dependent on them in that since
Dengue?
2013? Dengue.
Ethan, why are you laughing at dengue? Dengue fever is not a laughing matter, Ethan.
I think it's hilarious, personally.
What?
I think Ebola is hilarious too. Yeah.
Well, that
I can go up.
we'll give a
Influenza,
pass on that. Influenza, you laugh at
Influenza.
that?
hilarious.
Yeah.
Comedy gold.
All right, Ethan, I'm gonna say it. What about
What?
COVID-19?
That's too far.
That's what I thought.
I'm
That's what I
offended you would even like suggest that.
thought.
Actually, I think you should be arrested, and I
Oh,
think you should
should
be
I?
drawn and
Yeah.
quartered.
Oh, I
Ooh,
see.
that's a creative one.
You should have the stones placed on you, like they did that guy in the witch trials.
Execution by elephant.
No, we're not. We're not like Hammurabiing this.
I don't know if that's who did that.
I don't remember. Maybe it was a
It
like a
was in
Gupta.
India. I don't know who. Can't remember. We read about it in philosophy though.
Mm.
It was a big moral discussion.
So, stemming from that, what are you guys' views on genetic modification in general? Like not like naturals, not like selective breeding, but like legitimate like CRISPR genetic modification.
Of humans?
Like for what?
Humans, animals, whatever.
Oh,
And we can talk
Braden.
about humans
Oh,
separately
Ethan
from
wants me to go
animals in whatever
first.
way that y'all want. I'm going to say
Well,
something
Radical.
horribly radical, but let hear what y'all have to say.
uh, I will say, since Ethan inclined for me to go first, I feel like I don't know enough about it to necessarily comment too much on it. I just urge
At least
being
I
careful
separate
with
you
it
from the
just to make
religious people.
sure it would be something to research a lot into before you do it.
Mhm.
I mean, if it's for the benefit, if it's a like if it's something that is, to put it in a very very simple way of looking at it. If it's something that's beneficial with no downsides, I don't see why not. But
Well, that's
those
part of
kinds
the
of things are
argument
few and
is
far in
that
between.
you could see it as being beneficial with no downsides, and then 50 generations later, it turns out that there were.
Well, that's why I said, it's something we'd have to be
Genetic
exceptionally
time
careful
bomb.
with.
Yeah. That's one of the
Like,
theories that go against it.
I mean, you've seen like selectively breeding dogs makes we have dog breeds that
Yeah,
are
there's a
like a
lot of
genetic catastrophe.
pugs. What?
Yeah. 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 And
Miniature horses.
if you go for, because a lot of that stuff's about how they look. If you're humans and you're going specifically for looks, God only knows what kind of horror you might create.
And did you just see the G word?
Oh my
What?
god.
I said, did you just see the G word?
What is the
God.
Oh God. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to offend Jackson. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say like I don't know. What word do you want me to say? Jesus.
I'm just messing with you. I'm not being
I know,
legit. I'm
I
messing
know.
with you.
I know.
Okay.
I don't know
God,
what we
Bruce.
might do 50 generations down the line if we've selectively created ourselves for one specific thing. What kind of health ramifications that might have.
No clue.
There's
My turn.
could be
Yeah,
benefits though.
could be benefits. Then what do you think?
What do I think? I think, I think it's gonna be kind of like an escalation protocol. What's gonna happen? As in, some it's gonna if assuming it's made illegal or it's not made illegal explicitly, and it's like whatever, and a family goes into a clinic and they pay a set amount of money, and the geneticists do something, take an egg, eject it with whatever, and this guarantees the child is going to have a perfect singing voice, right?
Well,
You do
there's not
that.
just a gene that you can turn off and on for a singing voice or for looks or whatever. It's
Like
Well,
not
that's
like
not
you can't just like
necessarily. I think there
check off
is.
on a list. Oh, I want my child to be
Well,
smart, and then you
that's
just
sort of the goal of it, though. Is there obviously are genetic.
that's not how it works.
Well, that is
Uh,
how it works because
no,
there's
it
some people
isn't.
who can't sing and some people who can, and it's not necessarily a learned trait. I mean, it can be learned.
oh yeah,
There's
I
also a
don't know if
genetic
it's
disposition to these things.
so what you'd look for like expanded
So
lungs
So
and
or yeah, you'd figure out some. I mean, it could, because it's not necessarily purely physical. It could be something with the how the genetics
So
affecting the development of the brain,
I
and
s-
that could allow you to achieve a certain or a otherwise prodigy level
mm. So I see what
ability.
so you're basically putting it to the line where so right now I would say that we've currently only learned the alphabet. You're talking in the scheme of like we're forming sentences.
Yeah, I'm talking about
probably
it's.
more
I
than
mean,
that.
what otherwise, like, what else are we gonna do with
Complex
it?
paragraph, whatever.
Probably, I mean, it'll probably start initially with trying to eliminate certain genetic diseases.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I
even if
think
we
that's
do,
gonna be the first.
okay, well, we can start there. We can start there. If it's not state mandated, which in the United States, it's whoa, God knows. Sorry, Jackson. Um,
Yeah,
we'll have trouble mandating any sort of genetic-based
that's how it goes.
modification. You might get away with it in some more like hegemonist European countries, but or China. You can get away with it in China.
They'll
Yeah.
require it.
So you'll have like communities that have cleaned their genetic code up, so to speak, where like they have like a significantly lower chance of producing a child with autism,
And stuff.
yada 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 yada, until you have two sort of opposing or several opposing factions of levels of genetic modification, right? Where you have some people who are just or some families who are just intrinsically inclined to live a worse life because they are more predisposed to have problems that other people have gotten rid of. And so this will create some sort of a escalation thing where everyone is going to have to keep up to a standard. Otherwise, it's not even a matter of like political inequality. This is actual biological measurable inequality that you're going to have to deal with at a level that humans have always tried to I mean, think of like this is race theory, but actually applicable, like all the old race theory stuff. Except now you can actually have the evidence to do it. So now you can actually like you can have discriminatory philosophies like that and
Mhm.
have them be at least like scientifically valid. Like you can say that you can say that someone's genetics are or like unequivocal. What is the term?
So you're
Are
saying is a new age Hitler is going to emerge.
No, not necessarily. I'm saying there's going to be like you could have some sort of discrimination where you could say there is a lesser race on Earth of people who have not
Mm.
genetically purify themselves,
see,
genetic
I see.
purity. But there, at the same time, I see this kind of
So you're seeing the
coming
world as a
about.
Black Mirror episode then?
I've never seen Black Mirror, but
Really? Oh, I
no,
think you would love it, Ethan. That's,
that's what
like,
people
totally
tell
up your
me.
alley.
I don't know. I've always like heard the plots and I was like, oh yeah, well, I mean, this is like it's okay. I don't know. They seem kind of generic. Anyway, but the I kind of see that there's going to be a reverse or a counter to this sort of philosophy, and it's going to arise from religious communities where there's going
Uh-huh.
to be an embracing of naturalist, like human purity. Because
Yeah.
you already have that in a lot of religious communities of like no body
Mhm.
modification, no
Yeah.
tattoos, no piercings, nothing like that. And now you just go up a level. It's like, well, you need to be how God made you. So you can
Yeah.
have these religious communities that are very exclusive towards you. You have to be human passing or
Mhm.
something. And then you'll have these super people who go out of their way to make themselves as or make their bloodline as genetically superior as
Pure
possible.
or
So you have
whatever.
like those super rich families that are paying for experimental procedures who are like always imagine like you're always 6 foot and up
Mhm.
Hmm.
from that point on. And so you have like the
Yeah.
super you can actually like genetically elevate yourself to godhood.
Well, okay, but because you know how humans have like I've read in multiple places have like an aversion to something that is absolutely perfect because it's
Yeah.
intimidating. Do you think that that would come into play? Like somebody's too perfect, so they become like an outcast
Hmm.
from the rest of society?
I mean,
Just to throw a
Possible.
theoretical monkey
I don't
wrench in
necessarily
there.
know it'll be too perfect because that kind of assumes that perfect is something that's known to begin with
That's fair.
And that's achievable.
and it's achievable. I think
And
you'll have instances of people who think that they're really great, and it'll be more a matter of like ego that people will dislike.
mm,
Mm.
But I also imagine that there will be instances where you have people who were born better than everyone else, right? But they can't help that. They weren't given the
yeah,
choice of whether or not to be born that way. It
true.
was removed from them. I mean, then you get into like that's like its own issue altogether. Is
Yeah.
the like will of birth and that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, hmm.
That's my two
Interesting.
cents.
Do you think do you think there would come a point at which you can't go any further? Like you've designed
Yeah, that was
the
what I was
perfect or like
thinking about
because
what I
I
was
guess
gonna
you
say.
could go two routes. Like you could have specialization or you could have like a jack of all trades
I
kind of
think
human.
the goal. I mean, I think it'd be potentially regional, and if not regional, then you'll have a baseline genetic, generalized one that's like, okay, you're going to be within this height, this you're going to kind of have these proportions. You're not going to be disease ridden,
Mhm.
yada yada.
Well, but you're talking about like a like
And then you could also have situations where like you want people to be athletes specifically,
Well, at this
and
point,
so
we then
you
have to
do
take into
that.
consideration the nature versus nurture part of it,
Well, I
because
mean,
there's a
yeah,
vast
well
portion of
you
this
can
kind of
kind
stuff
of
that's nurture.
well you can kind of throw that away in the sense that you're if you're just building somebody to be a way, like if you're trying to make somebody be an athlete, the
hmm
first step, no matter what, if you're using genetic modification, is to make it so they're going to be very muscular in the
yeah,
right ways
and that
for
can
whatever
that
sport it's going to
and
be.
that's a genetic
And
leaning.
then beyond that, yeah, sure. Like the nature versus nurture comes into play. What if that person wants to be, I don't know, like a chiropractor or something, right? And they're
Mhm.
like, I don't have any interest in being an athlete.
hmm
Mhm.
You
I
also
think
have an issue of people making soldiers. Governments
Yeah,
raising children.
that's
Like
another
the classic.
dealio.
The hate that you have like the Spartan program stuff.
Mm, yeah. I think that there could be a point that people reach where they like have gotten everything that they want to get, like the people who are like looking to modify their children at this point, they're already like as far into whatever field they want their children to be as possible, and then they start looking for further modification, like as if they want to evolve the human race rather than just modify it.
So then, like, they finally take Ethan's brain out of the jar and like jam it into a robot and take orders from him instead.
Great. I'll be. Oh, that'd be beautiful.
Don't get don't get too excited about that one, Ethan.
We
It's
could.
a cruel world.
I could see us gradually genetically modifying ourselves to make us more applicable for space travel, if that ends up developing
Sure.
in parallel to space expansion.
Maybe you'd have like the perfect in space people and then the perfect people for with
Yeah,
this amount of gravity, this amount
like
of
denser
gravity.
bones and stuff by default, so that you don't get
Yeah.
the bone. I don't know what the term is.
Degradation.
Yeah, from space,
Yeah.
or at least it's not as powerful.
It's, yeah, maybe.
Hmm.
That
I
could
don't
work.
know. Definitely a whole a very broad
And
range of things to
I guess there's also a concern, especially in the more like authoritarian parts of the world, of standardizing your human,
yeah.
like
Mm,
actually making a species homogenous or a like
yeah.
a group homogenous. Like that's kind of scary.
Well
Definitely
then
like
again
an
it's
idea.
like oh sorry, I didn't mean
Like the
to
perfect mixed race. Like
Hmm.
like like the ideal diversification or whatever the hell you want to call it. Or not diversification, unification. So that there's no inequality.
well I think one thing to throw a little bit of sand in the gears here is if you're making genetically very similar humans because at the end if you're trying to make people the best as possible they're probably going to come out pretty genetically similar, right?
Mhm. Right.
Or maybe not you go specialization, but you're getting rid of some of the disease resistance you might have had from a
Variation.
different variation, right? And
Hmm.
I don't know to what extent that would be a big deal, just because I don't know a lot about how that works. I know there's certain groups that are more predisposed to be immune to certain things,
Mhm.
and if you make people that are all genetically exactly the same, I mean, then you've got to worry about I don't know. Let's say China makes a genetically just because they're very authoritarian makes a genetically homogenous human type. Well, what
Like
if
a
somebody
variant.
makes a biological weapon specifically to wipe out that
Mm.
kind of human? You know, you kind of have a problem
Yeah.
there.
Imagine
Is it?
like.
I don't think it'd be that hard to make a genetically targeted virus or bacteria.
I have no idea. I don't know how that would work. I frankly hope we
If
never
we're at, I
find
mean,
out
if
how
we're
that
at this
works.
stage of human modification, then we probably have a like exceptionally what, or we probably have a very good understanding of general genetics. So yeah,
Probably.
we probably could do that.
But then maybe immunity would already be through the
Imagine
roof.
going to like a clinic. Like imagine birth or population controls so
Oh,
intense that you have to go to a clinic and you get to choose from like a wall of faces, and they're like body diagrams of what they look like throughout their life. Like this is what your kid's gonna look like when he's this age,
oh
this
my
age, this
gosh.
age. These are the known variations that may occur within their development. And there's like you can only pick from 9 variations.
It's like The Sims or something.
Yeah.
That is kind. I feel like that would have to be a gradual transition, or just the huge swaths of society would say, no, I'm not doing that.
Yes, I think it would definitely be an over time kind of thing, but I think once it happened, it'd become like
'Cause
how us pulling our phones out of our pocket and texting someone is. It's like second nature now.
we're already seeing like we're already seeing a heavier reliance on C-sections, right?
Yeah.
So people are being born who otherwise would not have been able to previously,
Mhm.
and I think this is marking a big shift in that we are starting because what that's causing is human head sizes are continually expanding, and they're not the people because we're letting the fetuses with head sizes live and
Yeah.
pass down that genetics when otherwise it should have stopped right there
This is
and
the
not
Darwinist
produced that.
view right here.
Because and then so then you're going to have gradually our head sizes are increasing, and we're going to get to the point, and this is like if you follow the extreme, and I
Yeah.
don't necessarily subscribe to this, but it'll come to the point where natural births become very difficult to achieve because
Mhm.
you risk death so much without medical or surgical um,
Aid.
aid, yeah, that you just and you end up creating a more or less infertile race. And so at that point I could very well see it just a complete shift to like growing human, not necessarily growing humans, but like you you choose it, you make it work that way,
Well, you
and then you
just
have the whole like the mass sperm death issue that is a, around but not really talked about.
You know what could happen is like you could the future of the race could be entirely like instead of like the word test tube babies is like a used term right now, but like legitimate test tube babies. What if like at birth females are sterilized
Hmm.
or something, or men are sterilized? Whatever. Not touched on weird territory there, but like just sterilization so that like sexual things could still ensue and like that kind of jazz, but having children would be a thing that you like basically go to a shop and you just are like, I want this, and then they grow this child in a
Hmm.
like a in a an incubation chamber. Like,
huh.
just
Dude.
completely get rid of sexual reproduction.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's a lot of nuances to birth that
Yeah,
build a proper human, though.
at the end of the day
Well, at this
I want the
point
Habsburg chin to come back.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge, huge wormhole to go down. But
it's a lot of
well,
anyway.
I think we did a good job, good enough
Solid
job.
hour.
Solid hour, a little over.
Solid
a little
hour.
over.
Well,
With a technical mishap, who knows how much we actually talked about that we had already said.
30-minute episode.
easy closer off.
Oh, that's crazy.
hurt.
Stopped
That's
recording again.
Excellent.
Yeah, Jackson, Jesus.
Jesus. God.
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 All right.
Well, anyway,
Well.
thanks for hanging out with us, folks.
Yeah. Thank you.
See ya.
Bless. Good night. Sweet dreams. Love you. Wow.
Don't let the bed.
Don't let the mosquitoes bite.
Yeah, don't let the
They won't.
mosquitoes
Yeah, don't
bite,
let
or
them genetically
Wear get your
modified
netting.
mosquitoes
Yeah.
nip
get
you.
get your genetically modified mosquitoes.
Hmm.
Adios.
Kill the bats.
Goodbye.